always aware of him? What is it?
Just had a knack.
Welcome to Late Night Legends, where we've stopped the oven timer at 1988. George Bush I was elected US President. Russian troops began to withdraw from Afghanistan. An independent state of Palestine was proclaimed. At the movies, Rain Man won the Oscar, and we also chewed popcorn through Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Die Hard, Crocodile Dundee 2, and A Fish Called Wanda. Locally, The Navigator was the best of the crop. Acacia pycnantha, also known as golden wattle, was officially proclaimed Australia's national floral emblem. I thought it always had been. The Olympic Games were held in Seoul. Table tennis was introduced. Baseball and taekwondo were demonstration sports. Debbie Flintoff-King, Duncan Armstrong and the Hockeyroos brought home gold. In football, Hawthorn easily won in the AFL. Canterbury Bulldogs in the Rugby League, and the Wallabies were too good for England, not good enough against the All Blacks. In cricket, we celebrated our Bi-Centennial with a draw against England, and a special invitational soccer tournament involving 3 other nations. Australia's first game resulted in a respectable 1-0 loss to Brazil, followed by a 3-0 win over Saudi Arabia and an unbelievable 4-1 win over world champions Argentina. That put the hosts into the final against Brazil. Australia's custodian was Jeff Olver, and he had to contend with one of the legendary strikers of the world game. Jeff, tell us all about that little bugger Romario. I just want to wring his neck.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a great player. I mean, obviously the final we knew we were doing well because 50,000 people turned up, and Bob Hawke decided to turn up as well, and we got to meet Bob and all the dignitaries and all that. But yeah, great player. I mean, we did very well in the game. I mean, they got 2 goals in the first half, but we dominated the second half, to be honest. We were a little bit stiff. Scotty Ollerenshaw was playing at the time, was brought down through, I remember Jorginho got sent off, and they were down to 10 men towards the end. But, I mean, the guy just had a knack. I mean, he was born with it. I mean, some players are born with it.
But he's this big.
Yeah, unfortunately, I played against him 3 times, and he scored 5 goals. I mean, I went off after that tournament. We went off to the Olympics, and he scored 3 in a game against us in the qualifying there. Scored at Olympic Park and scored in the Bi-Centennial Gold Cup. But it just shows you how the game is such a level. With football, we talk about football as we call it. That you know, he was after that tournament and after the Olympics. He then got transferred for $8.5 million to PSV Eindhoven in Holland, and I ended up going back to my $30,000 a year job at the VSF. So just shows you how the game is a real level up. But I mean, when you cross the line, everybody's equal, and that's you know, that was a great thing about that team. But it was a great tournament. It put us on the map in terms of, I think it was the beginning of the current era, because we got some really credible results. It wasn't a Mickey Mouse tournament. It was the best players, and as I said earlier on, that was a team that went on and won the next World Cup for Brazil, and a number of those players played in a number of World Cups.
And as you say, that team went to the Seoul Olympics and played against Yugoslavia and got a win against Yugoslavia, which also, added with Argentina, is no mean feat.
Yeah, we were grouped against, obviously we diverse a bit, but we were grouped against Yugoslavia, Nigeria and Brazil. We beat Yugoslavia as it was in, they were a whole before it was being split up. We beat them 1-0, and we got beat by Brazil 3-0. We beat Nigeria because he scored against Nigeria, and we won 1-0, and then we made the second round, but unfortunately we ended up drawing Russia as it was as a whole. Yeah. But the moral of the story is that Russia won the gold medal, Brazil won the silver medal. So we always said that we always got beat by the gold and silver medalists. Right. So, but that was the catalyst for them. And as I said, a lot of those players went overseas and made millions. And a few of our guys then went on. Frank Farina, Graham Arnold, and all those guys went on to the next level of their career. And unfortunately for me, I ended up coming back to Australia. Not unfortunately, but I came back to Australia and carved out a career somewhere else.
And now just one final word on, we'll just return to Romario for a moment. What was it about him? What made him such an instinctive goal scorer? I mean, are you always aware of him? Are you having to keep a lookout? Where is he? Who's marking him? Is he just so quick? What is it about him?
Yeah, he just had a knack of being at the right place at the right time. I mean,
is that unteachable? Did he just know that?
Yeah, I think players. I mean, they talk about the Pelés and the Diego Maradonas and the Romarios and a number of different people. I mean, it's like. You know, it's like Thorpe and it's like Hackett. You know, how are they so good? I mean, you can only train so much. I mean, I could do the same amount of training as they can, but at the end of the day, if you haven't got the ability, you haven't got the ability. So I think from his perspective, he's born with it. Some of the things he does, I mean, 1 minute he's, you know, down pretending he's tying his shoes up, and the next minute he's knocking the ball in the back of the net. I mean, he was just a crafty player. And I mean, it's testament. He's still going around the world now, still playing. There's currently talk that he may come to Australia and come and play with Adelaide in the new National League. You know, so that's testament to, finally, it's quite ironic that he might do the full circle and eventually end up back at the country where he knocked in a few goals back in '88.
Well, let's have a look at him. Let's join our commentators at the Sydney Football Stadium for the Bi-Centennial Gold Cup final between Australia and Brazil.
The Bi-Centennial Gold Cup, the glittering prize now within the reach of Australian soccer. And the chance for the Socceroos to win this coveted trophy has brought a large and very excited crowd to the Sydney Football Stadium this afternoon, as you can no doubt hear. Hello and welcome everyone to the final of the Bi-Centennial Gold Cup, Australia against Brazil. And the men on whose shoulders all our hopes are resting are the Socceroos, who grabbed not only Australia's, but also the world's attention on Thursday night when they trashed reigning world champions Argentina. The question is, can they possibly hope to produce another famous victory today? Johnny Warren, can they do it?
Well, I think before the tournament, Charles, there was only about 20 guys thought that they'd be here today. That's Frank Arok, Eddie Thompson, Charlie Yankos and all the players. They've defied all logic to be here, and should they perform as they have so far in the series, we're going to have one hell of a game here this afternoon.
And the Brazilians are well aware they've got a battle on their hands.
Well, I've just been up in the dressing room. They've just had their traditional prayer before the game, the look on their faces. They're very uptight. This is a big event for them. It's going live to Brazil. They're on show. We're going to have a great game.
OK, Johnny Warren. So the scene is set for what could be the greatest occasion in Australian soccer history, as we go up to join your commentator, Martin Tyler.
Yes, Charles. Good afternoon, everyone. The reason it's such a great occasion is because Australia continue to break new ground as far as this most international of sports is concerned. Facing Brazil remains the ultimate test, but they do have an extra ally today. They do have some fantastic support. 2,500 fans were queuing for tickets at 10:30 this morning. The word is spreading that this is a team to be proud of, and that will still be the case whatever happens over the next couple of hours. Well, it was Oscar Crino's excellence against today's opponents in Melbourne just 10 days ago which encouraged Frank Arok to break his own rule about never changing a winning team. Crino hospitalised just 2 days ago. He's been on a penicillin drip, but they've got him out there. Well, Vlado Bozinoski is the unlucky man to step down after playing an important role in Thursday's heroics against Argentina. Defender Robbie Dunn carries the scars of that battle, an angry wound in his right shin, despite the stitches inserted following an atrocious foul on him by Batista. Physically, the recovery period for this splendid team has been short. And with an extra day's rest, Brazil's resources have been revived. Muller is out there, he's fit again. And from this Brazilian side, only the suspended Ademir is missing. Andrade is a natural replacement for him. Nelsinho, he hasn't played since the first match with Australia. He's recovered from a damaged shoulder. And Geovani, who was carried off against Saudi Arabia on Wednesday, he's fit again. On the right, at the back of the bench there, the dynamic duo. Frank Arok and Eddie Thompson, who have had to sort the team out from their celebrations on Thursday evening, which they were quite entitled to have. Well, we're underway. Wally Savor. Yankos and Robbie Dunn, whose father flew in yesterday from Western Australia. He was a little worried whether Robbie would be past fit with that damaged shin. But his journey already worthwhile. And there will be some very proud relatives, I'm sure, as well as thousands of proud fans to see Australia reach the final. That in itself is a great achievement. Crino. His ankle so swollen with that blood infection, but he amazed everyone in training yesterday. And they really had to consider including him after the way he played against Brazil. Here's Alan Davidson. has had an excellent tournament. Arnold for Farina. Wade and Ollerenshaw in the middle. Australia have made something of a habit of getting early goals. 6 minutes against Saudi Arabia, 4 minutes against Argentina. Be asking too much to make that a hat-trick. And Savor being spoken to for the foul. A few specks of rain coming down. Vlado, Jorginho galloping up outside him. It's Muller at the far post. He'll be able to return it as well. Good defending in there by Wade. Andrade. Geovani had a mixed night on Wednesday. 2 successful penalties against Saudi Arabia. It brackets him with one of 5 players, as one of 5 players, on 2 goals in the tournament. No clear-cut leading scorer so far. But Geovani was then carried off and looked as though he might not make the final. Wade. Well, Muller read that. It's a pass aimed for Jennings. Vlado. Geovani. Terrific run from the back, very much in character by Nelsinho. Edmar checking out, prepared to run at defenders himself, only for a moment though. And really Farina had to follow through once the ball had been slipped past him. It's something that players like to do to each other in training and have a joke about it, called the nutmeg, slipping it between an opponent's legs. Nelsinho, it's a wicked one. And Australia survived it, but it was mighty close. That's Nelsinho's party piece, the swerving, dipping shot when there's no sort of angle. You have to have outrageous skills to shoot from there. He's got those skills. Farina. And it's a goal kick. Well, I'm sure Frank Arok, who's trying to charge up his players a little bit, I'm sure he mentioned the shooting of Nelsinho, but who would shoot from here but a Brazilian? There's no fluke about that. Olver was diving, but the player on the post helped him out. Wade. Davidson not given a chance this time. Nelsinho very quick in. Arnold. The way Australia play, Arnold's really on his own through the middle with Farina and Ollerenshaw wide. Oh, they've left Edmar, and it was lucky for Australia that he couldn't collect it. Davidson playing it sensibly again. Here's Wade, Farina ahead of him down the touchline. Now taking over. Only Arnold really in the middle. Ollerenshaw coming in at the back post. And Australia have a corner. The deep cross and the defenders backpedaling down. And this hugely enthusiastic Sydney crowd leaning forward now on the edge of their seats. There's all sorts of things going on in the middle of the ball. Wade's been involved. And then Robbie Dunn now. They use the term marking literally. And Dunn, who's quite a fiery character, must keep his composure. Davidson looking superb. Very experienced, of course. There was a blocking off the run then of Farina, which Brazil do so well. Miller and Arnold filling in midfield, giving away the free kick. He did go for the ball, but Muller was far too quick. Free kick taken quickly, and too quickly for Brazil, because Muller had straight offside. Davidson, who played First Division football in England with Nottingham Forest, and he's not frightened of performing on the big stage. It's a huge stage for the Australian game, this one. Davidson there again. Jorginho. Edmar. Geovani from Vasco da Gama, where he's had a marvellous domestic season. There's a special link-up, club level, with Romario. Wally Savor. There wasn't much on for him, so it was sensible policy, really, just to keep running, settling for the throw. Davidson. Wonder how long Crino will be able to last. Penicillin, a wonderful curing drug, but it does leave you feeling a bit low afterwards. Vlado. Edmar. Oh, and it's broken up by Aloisio in Australian territory. But Don Campbell spotted something there that the Brazilians aren't happy with. And a wry shake of the head from their coach, Carlos Alberto Silva. Well, we've just passed the halfway mark in the first half. It's Australia 0, Brazil 0. And down on the bench, Messrs. Arok and Thompson will be pleased to have got to this stage level pegging, and with one or two moments of encouragement. The whistle had gone before Wade flew into the volley then. The players, Johnny, have been teasing Graham Arnold a bit about not scoring in this competition. When you wear the number 9 shirt, there are expectations of you, but his overall contribution has been
enormous. His nickname here on the local scene is Goal a Game Arnie. When he first came into the national team, it was almost every game he scored. He's desperately keen to score in this tournament, and more so, of course, today.
Muller getting the running jump at Wade. He had to jump from a static position. Poor Wade's head work has been a terrific feature of the Australian play, and how they work situations to get him in where he might strike at goal with his head. He's the type of player who uses the inside of his head as well as the outside. Davidson. Geovani. They're reluctant to play the simple pass to get out of trouble because they back their skill all the time, the Brazilians. And other countries, you would think that would be suicidal doing that in there, but here at Brazil, from down in their own corner, well, they were pressing forward until Wade energetically was there to make the interception again. Savor. Davidson. moving well to get free. And he's got a good little move, that turn to the right, on his stronger side. He battles on. Cross had the pace taken out of it by a Brazilian deflection. Dunn. Arnold turning well again, and holding off Nelsinho. Graft and sweat. That's an important part of the football mix. Ollerenshaw. Oh, great play, and just went to rush the cross. Great potential here, Johnny Warren.
Yes, look, he's grown in stature in this tournament so much. Always a promising youngster with the St George club. But he's putting on the Brazilian tricks here today. Look at this dribble here. Unfortunately, just off balance a little when he hits it. But Ollerenshaw has been one of the pluses of the tournament for Australia. A big plus because he's an attacker, because he's a player who can take players on, and growing with immense maturity.
Yankos filling in behind Dunn. There's a mistake by Romario. Savor. Wade. That's another confident move. Maybe Australia have come through the worst of those early 10 minutes or so when they really didn't look at ease in this unusual position that they find themselves. Make no mistake about it, this team can play. Whatever the result here, one would hope that they would again give evidence of their growth in stature and quality during the match. There are signs now that that's beginning to happen. Geovani. Here's Jennings. Farina has switched to the left, ahead of Crino. Ollerenshaw on the right still. Davidson, Ollerenshaw. He made the right move again. Crino. Wade. Quite for Arnold. Farina was in there as well. There is a feeling in the Australian camp that Brazil don't defend too well in midfield. Silva concerned enough to get off his seat, try and pass a message on. This game started at 2 o'clock in the morning, Brazilian time, but they're all watching and listening back there. And wondering what's going to happen in this attack. Edmar. Jorginho. A lot of players forward from Brazil, and Davidson did use an arm intentionally, is the verdict. So those players will stay forward and be joined by the big men from the back. Was this intentional? Well, the referee thought so. Yes, Ricardo is there, the number 4, and the tall Aloisio as well. Geovani, really a dead ball expert. Australia must be vigilant in their marking, and Yankos judged the right point. He did that many times against Argentina. Brazil trying to get another cross in. This time it's Crino in the way. Davidson rather scooped it out. Dunn. Davidson. For Ollerenshaw. Here's Romario. Savor in the way. And if Australia at times are having to play their passes a little too quickly for their own style to develop, they can draw great comfort from the fact that Brazil haven't really found that golden blend, which is the trademark of their game. Crino was fouled by Edmar. Already on his way forward is Robbie Dunn. I think the tallest man in the competition. I would say the tallest outfield player for sure. Crino trying to deliver accurately. Up goes Dunn, and in fact it's diverted away for a corner. Pause for Crino. From Dunn, and I'm sure from the supporters as well. Must have been a great boost to them when the teams were announced here. Crino virtually ruled out for the rest of the competition. He's going to take the corner. Taffarel off his line, and his handling has been first class in this competition. That's bread and butter stuff, really, for goalkeepers. There's a bit of handling there, too, from Muller. He's not allowed to do that. But Taffarel is, and he's doing it splendidly for a country with no tradition in that goalkeeping department, really, of any substance compared to what they achieve as outfield players. Muller, it's broken well for him, and this might be a problem with Romario against Savor. That should be Australia's throw, and Wally Savor came through that test very well. Davidson just in time making Crino sprint, and it's that bit of sharpness that will have gone because of the spell in hospital. You just can't expect it. What Australia have got to do is get the ball to Crino's feet and let him pass it, because he's the best that they've got in that respect. Jennings. Edmar, and Jorginho involved as well. Crino to tidy it up. So disappointed to miss out against his country of birth, Argentina. But this will make up for it to a large extent, just playing, if he can be a winner as well. Those unhappy days in hospital will be soon forgotten. Wade. Against Geovani. Nelsinho protesting the decision, which is a throw, and Geovani went straight across to the referee. So said something quite forcibly as well. Whether Don Campbell understood it, it's probably best from Geovani's point of view that he didn't. We have had more yellow cards than goals in this competition, but as far as this game is concerned, it's even Steven at 0-0.